We will now call the Town of Lake Clark Shores Code Enforcement Board hearing together, April 24th, 2024, 6:30 PM. Emily, would you please call roll?
Chair Paul Hughes,
Present.
Vice Chair Gerard Sanchez,
Present.
Board Member Ariel Hernandez,
Present.
Board Member Deb Moody,
Present.
Board Member Wesley Cook.
Present.
Thank you. Can we pledge the?
Bless you.
Aye.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Is there a motion to approve the agenda?
So move. I'll second it.
Motion's been moved and seconded. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion carries. Consent agenda, which includes the approval of the minutes of our March 27th meeting and cases now in compliance. Are there any additions or amendments recommended for the minutes of our last meeting?
None.
Hearing none. Are there any cases now in compliance?
Yes, there are, Chairman. All right. Starting on page 2. Toward the bottom of the page 24-0122 is now in compliance. Case 24-0133 is now in compliance. Page 3, top of the page, case 24-0163 is now in compliance. Case 24-0170 is in compliance. Case 24-0171 is in compliance. And case 24-0213 is in compliance. Just wanted to let the board members know that the business owner is here. They paid for it. They do want to speak to the board about a previous case from last month. So if we can discuss that later to see if they'll be allowed to speak. And that concludes it for the cases that are in compliance.
Okay, is there a motion to approve the consent agenda as amended?
I motion. Yeah.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion carries. Okay, just a reminder that anyone that has any firsthand knowledge or discussion with any of the cases that come before us tonight, if you would please disclose that at the time we hear the case. If there's anyone here tonight that's going to be speaking before the board, if you'd please stand and be sworn in by the town's attorney.
Do you swear or affirm the testimony you'll give be the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth?
I
do.
Thank you.
Okay, what case is it, Eric?
Well, we have 2 people. So the first case, we actually have case 23-0518. This is 7127 Westlake Drive. This was the property that we had discussed for many months, the one where the side parking area needed to be repaired. We had previous contact with the owner, but due to a loss in the family, we kind of lost contact. So the owner's son has actually reached out, spoken to me today, and Emily. He would like to speak before the board.
Okay, so case 23-0518, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay, that's in our next case, and that would be in our lien imposition hearing.
That's correct.
Do you have anything to add regarding that case?
I've spoken to the son. He's expressed that there's this property along with another property that currently has a lien, which is acknowledged as 1819 Antigua Road. The son has acknowledged to me and Emily that he intends on getting both of those violations corrected and then handling the liens from there. But for property 7127 Westlake Drive, he did want to speak to the board.
Okay, are there any comments or questions? Sir, would you like to come up and introduce yourself? And
My name is Mark Alvarez. I'm the son of Elaine Alvarez, who's in charge of both 7127 Westlake Drive and 1819 Antigua Road.
okay.
It's basically my father died in August after a really traumatic sickness that we took care of him 24/7. And my mom is pretty much broken since he died. I mean, even she had to take his name off insurance, car insurance today, and she was just crying doing that. Like, she is not, usually she's really stoic, but this time she's just like, she's broken. So that's why she hasn't been in. She's afraid to come here to defend herself because she thinks that she'll break down crying.
Mhm.
I honestly believe her at this point. I mean, she's doing really poorly. So that's all I really have to say. She wanted to, instead of redoing the asphalt, she would like to put grass on it, but we would have to get sprinklers, I think, for it. And she has the problem with she had the well's been a problem, and she had somebody come out to fix her well. The sprinklers really have not been working for all year. She had somebody come out to fix the well, and he just kind of ripped her off and broke the well. So she's still in the process of getting that done. But that's the one question I have, is if we can use grass instead of pavement.
Yeah, and I can answer that question. A few months ago, when we had Manny look into the property, because it was a unique property where that side lot didn't look like anything else in town, it was determined by Manny that either the parking area needed to be resealed or it could be removed and regrassed. So just to let the board members, know that's what Manny's decision was, seeing as he's not here tonight.
Right, I recall that.
Mr. Hernandez, or the one,
Alvarez.
Alvarez, I'm sorry.
Yes.
The other easy.
The property that has a paved
Mhm.
area, are you saying that it's your mother, correct?
Yes.
She wants to take that out
Mhm.
and regrass that whole area? Is
Yeah,
that-
there's no reason for it to be there. There's nothing to do with it. We have nothing to do with it.
do you know if she's had the opportunity to get any bids for doing that? Or
I honestly don't think so, no, because she's been working on the sprinklers first. They haven't been working all year. And so she told me that she needs to get the well, and here I'm out of my league because I'm not a homeowner. She needs to get the well dug first. It was not dug deeply enough, so the sprinklers weren't working. So she said that she needed to have the well dug deep enough to have sprinklers for the area. And that's all I know.
Mhm.
So what's your official request, I guess, is what
My official request is, I guess, an extension if possible. If not, I honestly don't know. I'm just here for my mom, just showing up because I know that we've been really lax in showing up. So basically just being here.
and yeah, so because is this the property that has the lien?
No, it's not a lien yet, I don't believe.
Because we have this.
Oh, let's
Yeah.
just, did we record the lien?
There is a lien, but it was for the cars. There were like broken down
Yes.
cars that were parked there. So there's a lien for that, but not for this current case.
And those vehicles were removed.
Yes.
Right.
Okay.
And this is for the paved,
Yes, correct.
right? And the fine through to date is $4,600?
Yes.
Yes.
So related to the other lien and the vehicles were removed, so the property is now in compliance. But is your mother aware that there is a lien related to that matter?
She just told me 2 days ago.
Okay, and is that something she can resolve?
That one would have to be taken before the town council because that lien was already recorded, correct, Emily?
Yes.
Yes.
But can't they pay the fees associated with that lien? And then the lien would be?
Yes.
Yes.
Well, they
Right.
could pay it, but if they want to try to get it reduced,
Then they'd have to go to council.
you want to
right?
go to the council.
Okay.
So right now, what we're dealing with is I'm just curious, and I'm sorry for your loss, because it's not only your mom, but obviously his whole family, and apparently you guys have been in the community a very long time. But, and having this loss, now you came into the picture, but your father passed away. I don't know
Right.
your mom's age. I don't know what's going on to handle her affairs, because obviously
Right.
this has been huge in your family, everything. So it just seems like you're coming way late in the game here.
Yeah, well, I just found out about it 2 days ago.
Do you have brothers and sisters?
I have one brother, yes.
He lives here, or does he?
He lives here, he's disabled.
Okay.
And I got stuck here because of COVID. I didn't plan on staying in West Palm. I basically got stuck here with COVID and laid off. And then my dad got sick, so we basically been taking care of him. And honestly, it was a really traumatic illness, and we all basically are sort of burnt out. And my mom's especially bad.
So I'm just,
Understandable.
it's understandable, but my thing is, your mom even handling these tasks or whatever, getting the
Yes.
estimates, calling the people, I'm saying, is she capable of doing these things, or is it something that really you're going to be handling?
That's honestly something that I'm trying to figure out right now. Historically, my mom's been on top of everything, and she historically is not really even. She kind of thinks that she can make the best decisions. Like even when my dad was alive, he didn't really do much for the house because my mom makes the decision. This is, yeah, I honestly don't know because this is completely new to me.
Don't take it wrong, but obviously this happened, obviously in August.
Right.
I think there the town actually went through great effort to try to bring it to her attention and whoever, yourself or, and it kind of pains us that this had to happen.
Right.
And so my question or whatever your request is, I'm just concerned you're going to make a request, but who's handling it? And is it going to be done in a very timely fashion? I would think everyone, that's really our concern. And I just feel being that your mom and your father are very involved in the community and now they're of advanced age and they haven't been able, I just feel someone needs to step in.
Right.
Because this is an unfortunate thing that, racking up these tabs. So I guess what guarantees are you going to be offering the board that this will be taken care of and handled in a timely fashion with communication with the town? So
I can try to guarantee it. In all honesty, this is all new to me. Like I said, I've never been a homeowner, so I don't know any of these things. I can guarantee it'll be done as far as I can just, if not on top of her, eventually shifting some of the responsibility to me.
because you have no bids, so we don't even know, honestly, you have no time frame now.
Right.
Because even if you had someone and you find somebody, you don't know when they can start. Eric, does that require a permit?
Yeah.
For the regrassing, I was actually just discussing this with Melissa, so give me just 1 second.
You have to remove the,
Payment.
all the asphalt.
That's a demo.
Here, I'll turn it over
install
to
the-
Melissa for this question.
Yeah, he'll have to remove the asphalt and then you want to put grass in.
And the irrigation system, which probably requires a permit as well.
Correct.
So permits will be required.
Okay.
I have a question.
So is the irrigation working right now?
Right now it is, but we don't know if the well actually works. We just had the irrigation, the sprinklers fixed. I want to
There's
say
no
4 or 5 days
irrigation.
ago. Right
Okay.
now they're running, but it's.
Concrete.
The wells might not be deep enough yet.
So they
Right
now.
install that.
The irrigation can't work with.
So I'm willing to give him
Well-
whatever time he needs to do it. I mean, the permit's going to come out fairly quickly, 2
Okay.
weeks maybe.
I'm sorry?
2 weeks, probably 2 weeks, and you
Okay.
have 180 days from the permit to do whatever you need to do.
Okay.
Or call for an extension if that's what you need.
So get the permit within 2 weeks?
Yeah.
Okay.
Something simple like that, yeah.
But the permits, for 6 months, but we don't want to wait 6 months.
Right.
So that don't get me wrong. So 2 weeks. So
Well, once he applies for the permit, it'll take 2 weeks to process the permit. But before that, you need to get your estimates and your contractors and all that lined up before you can even apply for the permit.
Okay.
Your contractor should be applying for you.
So I should have bids first.
Definitely,
Yeah, you-
definitely.
You're going to have a demolition company or somebody tear up all the asphalt.
Yes.
Then you're going to have the irrigation system extended into that area.
Mhm.
and then you're going to have it resodded.
I think also, do you have, Eric, do you have this Mr. Alvarez's telephone number and contact information?
Yeah, he has all my contact information. He called me earlier. You have my card, correct, sir?
No, I don't.
No, here you go. Oh,
Do you reside at the property, sir?
Thanks to COVID, I do.
Well, COVID's been over for a couple of years.
Yeah, I know. My father got sick at the end of COVID.
Right.
And basically we've been taking care of him since then. And now I'm taking care of my mom. I honestly don't know. My desire is not to stay here, but.
So
my
you've
mom's
been,
not too involved.
you've been in the house for the last couple of years or so,
Mhm.
living here. So what's happened to the code violations that Eric has posted on the property?
I know she's read some of them.
But did she consult you to say, you know, geez, what do I do with these? I don't understand these or anything like that?
Not really, no. She's just basically, it's hard to explain, but she
Mhm.
kind of just sits on the couch and looks at her phone all
Yeah.
day.
Okay.
So we need to decide whether we want to extend this or give them time to, or.
What's that? That's what I
Or
want.
impose a lien.
Well, we need a commitment. I'm just saying,
Right,
and I don't want to rely on your mother for obvious reasons. I get it. So, but you've been here for a while and now I know you want to get the hell out of here, but I kind of think we would appreciate if you kind of take charge and make sure this is taken care of for your mother.
Okay.
Because there's no sense in, I mean, these fines are ridiculous.
Mhm.
So I guess what commitment can we get from you
Mhm.
on the behalf of your mom that, because now it's looking to me, I don't think 30 days is going to be sufficient. You're probably 60 should be enough. But that's, you know,
Well, to get the permit and get the work done
correct.
and get their final inspections, which would put them into compliance.
So that I'm thinking, I don't think 30 days is not reasonable.
No, 30 days isn't reasonable. He needs 60, maybe 90 days. And any help that you need, Mr. Alvarez, just call me. I'll give you my card and I will help you along the
Thank
way. Okay?
What about giving Mr. Alvarez 30 days to at least
Come back with a
come
plan.
back and tell us where he is,
Mhm.
so we can kind of keep our finger
How-
on it.
Yeah, so as a plan proposal, why don't we do this? Mr. Alvarez is going to get in contact with Melissa, seeing as he's going to need the building department. Melissa can keep me updated. And then if you agree to a 30-day initial extension during the next board, me and Melissa can both present to you what steps have been taken. And you, as the board members, can see what progress is being made. Kind of like how we did it for the commercial properties that are doing their parking lots, to do like an update status.
Right, so I guess having 30 days, I would think there should be, by that time, you have already chosen the companies.
Mhm.
You already made the permit request, which we would have a record of. And I think that's more, by that, I'm just saying, for that part.
Okay.
And then, obviously, I would hope we would know when the work would be done and actually completed. I think that's reasonable, you guys,
Yeah.
as a board.
I'd support that. So 30 days, get the bids, get the,
By our next board meeting.
Okay.
Which is
May 20.
May 22nd. So before, but that's probably what we would want to expect by that time.
Okay.
So we'll include that in the motion.
Yeah.
Whoever wants to make it.
I think Jerry does.
Let's go ahead. I think it's number 6.
Continue.
Have we just been fines or whatever?
Yes.
Is 6 appropriate?
Right.
William, is
Fines
6?
are currently running,
Okay.
Is there a fine running?
according to
I would,
January. As of the date of this hearing, the total fine amount due is $4,600 plus the costs.
is that from the vehicles or is that from this?
No, the one for the vehicles was already recorded. The
Okay.
4,600 is
So
for
just
the,
this one?
yes.
So it'd be number 1, right? So I do.
Well, the violation's been found. I think you'd want to do a motion to schedule a status conference on May 22nd and ask Mr. Alvarez to come back and report what he has accomplished, and that you would expect him to have progressed to do whatever you think he should have done in that next 30 days.
And the lien keeps going.
Yes.
Or
Yeah.
the
Fine.
fine,
The fine keeps going.
just so you understand.
The fines continue to run.
Okay, so we have no number, we just make a,
I think number 6 though, which is just an order to continue.
Well, it could be continue, but I think you want to call it a status conference, I think, because you want to schedule him back here.
Right.
So you get a
So we can
report.
continue and then expect him back and what we expect to happen.
all right. So based on the testimony evidence presented in case number 23-0518, I move that we get a status of conference on this, on the next code enforcement board hearing of May 22nd of 2024. And that status means by that time, we should have all the bids and contractor picked, work permit requested, and time when that work is scheduled and will be completed.
Okay.
And if not, the fine may or may not be imposed.
The
But it's
lien-
already
the
imposed.
lien-
Lien,
The
will-
lien may be imposed.
the lien may be imposed. I apologize.
That's
Can you
okay.
repeat one more time what the third one is after the bids and the contract?
The commitment from the contractor of when the work will be started and completed. So I would think in these 30, you would have all that information because he may not even start by the time or the permit, but I would think then the following month, he would begin the process because you got a lot to do. That you got to clear the pavement, you got to get demolition. Take that, that's going to be another company, right? And get that hauled
Yeah, I
away.
would imagine.
Yeah. So we would just like to know by that time,
Mhm.
okay, you got that? Now when is it going to be work started and
Right.
completed by?
Oh, I totally understand.
And then also the fourth is that you come here in person and give us status.
Is there a second to Jerry's
I'll
motion?
second that.
Okay.
No, the
Now,
step,
now discussion.
make sure that Mr. Alvarez knows the steps, because I'm not sure he knows. what
Mr.
step.
Alvarez, just get with me. I'll
Okay.
give you my card before we leave
Mhm.
and I'll help you through whatever you need.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, step by step, because I know you're not familiar with it.
Mhm.
So I'll help you. Don't
Okay,
worry.
thanks.
Okay, no
And-
worries.
Thanks so much.
And I'm sure the town can't recommend one contractor over another, but if you check with Melissa, she can give you a couple of contractors who've done similar work or are licensed appropriately, right? And you can
Yes,
guide
will
them
do
that way.
Thank you.
And I'd like to say on behalf of the board, and I know a lot of the town council, and they've known your parents, I've just heard, it's our true, deepest condolences and everything you guys gone through. And believe me, this was painstaking to have done what we did or whatever. So I just hope you understand.
Oh,
It wasn't from the-
completely understand.
So,
Thank you.
All right, are you ready to vote?
Yep.
All those in favor of the motion, say aye.
aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank
Mr.
you.
Allen.
Thank you for coming in.
Mr. Alvarez. That's my card. Okay. Excuse my card too. All right.
Eric, the next case
Yeah.
number?
Chairman Hughes, if, so the person that's going to speak, their case is already in compliance. They want to speak about their business tax receipt that was heard last month. Would the board be willing to hear about that case?
So this is in reference to a case from last month?
Yeah, so it's the
Okay,
same
can you-
business.
Can you tell us what that case was?
Yeah, sure. So I don't have the case number, but if you go to page 3, the very last case, which is going to be case 24-0213, Business Exclusive Barber Lounge Incorporated, located at 1499 Forest Hill Boulevard, Unit 103. For what's currently on the agenda, this one has been paid and is in full compliance. The same business showed up for last month because there were 2 BTRs required. So they were found to be in violation last month. So the owner of the business would just like to speak to the board.
And what was the fine?
What was that?
The fine amount?
was-
I mean,
If you look at the minutes that I gave you, the case should be there with a summary.
I guess Paul's got it.
And that would be for Exclusive Barber Lounge Incorporated.
No. Thank
Sorry.
I think they're all listed together. Oh, go back.
There it is. That would 0092. Let's see. The respondent was and found in violation. The respondent to pay the amount of $82.69, which includes a delinquency penalty of 25% plus an administrative $100 plus an additional $250. So that's $350, $400 and some dollars.
And I think that was everybody that we did late, I think got the same
Yes, that's correct.
fine.
And the fine was paid? Has been paid?
No, not the
Not
fine.
that one, not this,
Not this one.
not this one.
The one that was going to be heard tonight, which is case 24-0213, that has been paid in full.
I'm confused.
He just wants to talk about the other one.
So this Joe, it's been on, that's a barber. That's somebody else.
Well,
So
it's the same barb coin.
Same company, but it's, a
Different
Same company,
person.
that's his wife who's a nail tech there.
okay.
And for this one that he wants to talk about is for his license.
It's his own personal
He's the
life.
actual barber, yes.
Okay.
Okay, and who holds the license for the barber shop
He
that
does.
she works at? Okay, so your license for the barber shop is not in compliance, but her nail tech license is.
No, the barber shop is in compliance. The nail tech is in compliance. His actual barber license is not in compliance.
Okay.
This is the one that's here,
Okay,
4-0092.
So he hasn't paid the fine.
Correct.
Okay. All right.
Okay, you,
All right, sir.
and he had until today in which to pay it or a lien would be filed.
Yeah, today is the last day.
He did come to the office to pay it, but when I read him off all the things that he needed to pay, he wanted to come to see if he can get
A reduction?
a reduction.
and I have one last question. Bear with me. The initial notice for the town license was when?
Yeah.
When was that? When would they have received that?
July?
Yes,
Due
in July,
October 1st.
July and it due October 1st?
correct.
And here we are, April.
And how many of those did we impose the exact same fine that evening? I think everyone got.
Like 10, there were a lot of them.
Yeah, there was a lot.
Okay, Suri, would you like to introduce yourself and tell us why you're here?
Yeah, so, here.
Yeah.
My name is Anthony Baez. She called me yesterday, telling me, about like the dues, being, overdue and stuff like that. And you said, somebody came too?
Yes,
Or-
that's Eric. That's Eric.
Yeah, I'm barely there. I don't cut hair anymore. So I just have, my wife there sometimes and, the other barber. And my focus is on other businesses. And so it's been a lot because, managing my son and my other son, and like, the multiple businesses or whatever, the barber, is not very communicative with me. Like, for example, if somebody were to pass by, like the landlord or the property manager or whatever, saying like, hey, this and that, like the communication is not really good with us. Hence why I'm here, right? But yeah, so I go probably like every so often, and then I go check the mail and stuff like that. I didn't receive or saw you.
Yeah, so the notices were posted to all of the properties. Do you know that the property that your business is at was sold in the last year?
It's been sold a whole bunch of times, yeah.
Because
Ever since my favorite one, Tony, it was like
yeah.
the main guy there, but yeah.
And I do know, and I can present to the board that he hasn't had a late payment before. His BTR was good last year when the notice was posted. So, I mean, it was posted to the property. I'm not sure if the person who was operating inside maybe didn't see it, or maybe took it down, but they were physically posted to all the properties. But again, you haven't been delinquent before.
Yeah, that's the first time. I always keep up with like all the bills and all that stuff, or try to at least. And that's just something that I could slip my mind.
So what you're saying is you didn't know you had to pay?
Yeah, pretty much. Like, I know I do that every year, but kind of like what you guys got confused too with like saying like, oh, what's delinquent and what's not, like that, I get confused too.
But your wife's taxes were paid, correct?
Yeah,
He did
I
pay all
paid.
the other licenses. He just, I guess, forgot to pay his.
So,
So the other 3 were paid except for this one.
so as a barber shop there, how many Town of Lake Clark Shores business tax receipts do you have to have for that business? You have
mine,
one for the salon,
uh-huh.
one for each barber, I'm assuming. How
Yeah.
many barbers are there?
Technically that license, me and another person, and
Okay.
then my wife.
And then your wife is a nail tech.
Yeah.
Do you have any other nail techs or other professionals there?
Mm-mm.
So is that 4 business tax receipts?
Yes.
Okay. So, okay.
Yeah, it gets confusing, but and then aside from that, I gotta do from here, I gotta do Palm Beach County, and then
Right.
obviously make sure the licenses are up to date with the.
DBPR.
Yeah.
Mhm.
But luckily that's not every year. That's every 2 years, I think.
Right.
But
So how did you know that your wife needed to pay hers and your other barber had to pay his?
today, with
How did you know? When did-
Oh, with her-
when was his wife's paid?
with her phone call yesterday,
Yeah, yesterday.
and
The
then
same with this, with the,
No, the other, yes, all of them were paid except for this one.
and this one, what is the fine on this one? This is what we just know.
Well,
Correct.
It was $82.69 plus 100 plus 250.
I think it was 400 and something.
Yeah.
Unfortunately,
and that's just for one, or is
That's just for one,
okay?
because the other ones are good.
Okay.
Just this one.
right.
When all you had to do was pay $82.
Yeah,
And it's unfortunate, but it really wouldn't be fair to waive those fees for you here and not waive them for everyone else under the same circumstances.
is there a way to like not waive it, but like reduce it, since it's like my first time and
I'm not
Fine.
opposed to it. I think if he had all of them that weren't paid,
Well, I think if, again, it's not only Lake Clark Shores, but I think all the municipalities have all their fines or things. I mean, this is kind of standard stuff. And then unfortunately, when it does late and it goes past due and it goes to, this is what happens.
Have all of your Palm Beach County business tax receipts been renewed and paid in full?
yeah, I believe so. Yeah, like I haven't had like any other issues.
I would check if I were you.
Yeah.
Well,
It's incumbent upon you as the business owner and
Yeah.
a licensed professional who's licensed by a state agency like the Department of Business and Professional Regulation to make sure that you comply with all local ordinances and regulations.
well, of course.
And I know, I mean, I'm sure this hurts or whatever, but not only, you may not see anybody here, but you can see we got cameras, we have people everybody here is the same, but like Debbie had said, and if we do it for you, we're going to have to do it for everybody else. It's just reduction. And I mean, that started, letter was sent out in July, which is mail, you paid in the past, whatever, I'm sure. And even if it was missed, because it's like, hey, I never got that invoice. Where is that? Let me call the town. I mean, you paid it every year. Gotcha. And thank God you paid the other ones, right? Because this could have multiplied really quick. But I think we need to be fair. I mean, there was a lot of them we did that evening. And I think we're just asking for us to have everybody come back next month and ask for reduction as well. And so.
I'd be willing to offer a reduction, but I don't have the votes to get it. Sorry.
Unfortunately, sir,
I'm on, I own a bunch of LLCs as well and have, whether it's state and federal and local and all, you can miss one. It's very easy. And I can appreciate that. It's clearly no intention to harm the town and seems to be acting in good faith. But I don't have support to get it passed. So based on the temperature I'm sensing, so I apologize.
I appreciate it.
Unfortunately, it's your responsibility to make sure that you get what you need to get paid for licenses.
Yeah.
And all the other people in town that get it paid on time, good for them. All the ones that don't, unfortunately, they got fined as well.
I have licenses as well and other things, and I can tell you, once it's late, the fine is bad. It is bad in the industry, and not only with extra, but again, this is more, we're going to have a whole lot of folks coming in asking for the same thing.
So what I think I'm hearing everyone say is that we're going to leave the fine imposed.
Except for one person.
That would be my recommendation.
Do we need a motion, sir?
Probably would be a good idea.
Okay. That would be, we don't even have the case number in this, do we? Or do we use the old,
4-0092.
the old case number?
Yes.
Okay.
So this was added to with the amended agenda? Does that have to be, because it's not even on the agenda, right?
Well, yeah, on the consent agenda, you made a motion to adopt the agenda as amended.
Is amended.
Mhm.
Okay.
So in case number 240092, someone like to make a motion?
I think you just need a simple motion to deny the
Request?
request to reduce the fine
Order denial appeal? Is that what it, no?
or deny the fine reduction.
Yeah. Pretty simple.
You got the case number you want to do?
0092. I can't make the motion.
Oh, no. Okay. Based on the testimony and evidence presented in case number 24-0092, I move that this board finds the respondent's request for reduction to be denied. And I think that's,
The fine remain.
the fine will remain as imposed.
Is there a
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed?
Aye.
Motion carries.
Sorry about it. Thank you. Thanks for coming in, honestly. No, I know. Again, it hurts to do stuff like this.
Okay, so, I think we're on, yeah. I think we're on 240055, unfinished cases, fine imposition hearing, cargo trailer being improperly stored. Is that still the case, Eric?
Yes, it is. I actually want to show you the photo. I did take a photo up today, if you look. So there's a trailer, and then there's all the additional trash now being stored on the outside of it. So I just want to present to the board that because that trailer is there, it's now creating a bit of an unlawful dump zone. So just wanted the board to see that this is.
Is that the house that's across the street from?
Jim Barbie?
Yeah, that's the.
Yes.
Okay. Regardless of that cargo trailer, I got that's been a continuous problem with this property. This
Yeah,
is
no,
not a one-time, it's probably adding, but this is this is a repeat offender. Nothing personal. I don't own the property, but he should pay an additional service just to go there and inspect his own property and make sure it's clean.
Yeah,
Is-
they've been cited numerous times, and if it happens again, they'll be going to next month's code board. But since that trailer has been there, the dumping, especially near it, has gotten worse, because when Waste Management comes through with a claw, they'll pick up what's on the outside, but what you see right next to the trailer, they're not picking that up. So
Right.
there's been issues where now we're having extra bulk trash hang out there for longer periods of time. So I just wanted the board to see that the trailer is causing additional issues.
So is that debris coming from that property or is it from neighbors dumping there?
I mean,
Don't know.
Some of it's obviously coming from the tenants. Clearly, there's probably people,
So this is the rental property?
yes, it is. I've worked in code for almost 5 years. I can tell you that anybody that goes to pick up people's bulk and they don't want to bring it to the right place, they look for spots like this to just dump it because there's not adequate lighting there at night.
And he doesn't have a camera.
So what's before us tonight is the
fine.
is the trailer still there? The trailer is still there.
Yes, correct.
Okay, so we're in a fine imposition hearing. We've found that if it wasn't brought into compliance, a $50 a day per day would be imposed. And that's where we are tonight.
And this trailer belongs to the property management company or is
Well,
it
it's on,
tenants?
so the owners are responsible for what's on the property. So that
Okay.
trailer wasn't there before it appeared and it hasn't moved since it was heard. So yeah, I mean,
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
no problem.
So have you spoken directly with the owner by any chance?
No.
You've never have, no phone call?
I've had correspondence before. The communication seems to have stopped.
Is this the same entity that we gave a break, like some extra time for the resurfacing of the parking
Yeah,
lot?
when they first took over the property, when this one and the one right next to it needed time to do their parking lots. Yeah, they were, well, this owner was cooperative then, understanding, stated communication. They've received several violations from me for the trash since then, and communication seems to have come to a grind.
Understood.
So this is a different owner than from previous history, or when did they take over this property?
So a couple months after I started working for the town, because when I had initially cited the property, it was under the old owner, so the violation had to be reissued to the new owner.
And did we check to see if anybody is there a tag on that trailer?
There's no tag on it. I had the officers check it.
He's got to move it. There's no tag, there's nothing, I mean,
No,
Yeah.
It's in violation of the ordinance. Like, even if they're going to store it, because it's a cargo trailer, it has to be screened from view of the roadway.
I'm behind the profile of the front fascia. of the-
Okay.
Yeah, the front's a little more challenging for rental property, but I understand.
Yeah.
Did they get service of the board order? Do we know?
What was it, Ms. Moody?
Did they receive notice of the hearing?
Yeah, every violation, every notice gets sent to what's on Papa.
Right,
And
but we
they-
don't have any evidence that they ever received it.
No, but what I can say is that when I've cited them in the past for several things, including the parking lot, the violations went to those same addresses that they're going to now, and we had response from them. So
And it didn't come back return mail or anything?
no, I've never received any return mail from this address.
So not only is it the notice of violation, the notice of hearing, the board order imposing the fine.
That's correct.
Okay,
I'll make a motion.
Mhm.
I'll make a motion.
please, sir.
Based on the testimony and evidence presented in case number 24-0055, I move that the respondents be found to have failed to comply with the order of finding violation dated, and I guess it would be this date or
No,
March
it'd be-
27th.
March
whatever, yeah.
27th of 2024. A fine in the amount of $50 a day is imposed commencing on,
April 3rd.
was it
April 3rd.
April 3rd of 2024. And such fine shall continue to accrue at that daily rate until compliance is achieved. In addition, the town's cost in prosecuting this matter shall be assessed.
Second.
Further discussion?
I want to know, this trash, you said they've already been written up, and you've written up to them in the past. Maybe they go ahead and clean it up, but do they wait for a notice to keep cleaning up?
Well, they receive a violation, but then it gets corrected by Waste Management.
I'm just, okay.
It's
We
an
should just
ongoing issue,
Focus
so-
on this one, but, and I'll bring that for now. So, all right.
Is there further discussion? All those in favor of the motion say aye.
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 Anyone opposed? Motion carries. Okay. Next case begins in the new cases, 24-0070, Max Marion dock and disrepair.
That's correct. Good evening. I'm Code Enforcement Officer Eric Richwagon, representing the town of Lake Clark Shores. This is case number 24-0070. Site property owner is Max Marion. Site address is 1500 Coranda Circle, Lake Clark Shores. On 1/27/2024, a notice of violation was issued for section 66-169 sub B sub 5. Dock is in disrepair. This photo isn't up to date. This is the one that was taken. The reason I was not able to take photos the last couple of weeks is we had a raw sewage spill that halted the marine unit from going out. Then there was another issue which is still ongoing. I haven't been able to get on the water and see it. However, there's no permits that have been pulled for the removal or the repair of it. I haven't had any communication with the property owner saying that it is being removed. I've received no photographic evidence. So based on that and the evidence, a notice of hearing was then issued on 4/12/2024. And as of today's dates, with everything I just said, the violation is still deemed to be not in compliance.
And you said the original was 1/27/24 or something?
Yeah, correct. The notice of violation was issued on 1/27/2024. It would be my recommendation, out of fairness, to give them no more than 30 days. I do need to go out there on the water and be able to see it or have them respond to me. So I'd say no more than 30 days to come in compliance. If not, a fine of $100 a day may be imposed.
They need a permit to clean that up, is what you're saying.
Well, it's made of entirely wood. We can pass it on to Melissa to ask if a permit is required. Like if they wanted to remove it and then build something newer and bigger, I'm sure that would require a permit.
Yes.
For,
Just to remove it. I'm just saying, like, if I wouldn't, a homeowner might think, hey, I don't need it. I can just do this myself.
They don't need a permit to remove it. They need a permit if they're going to remove and replace.
Right. That was, so my concern is now, and you tell me, but I think all of us, we don't want to touch that water right now, right? I don't know if, I know with the city or county. So my question is where, yeah,
Is that on the north side?
This is on the north.
this
side.
is on the
It
north
didn't-
side.
They did testing behind my house and it didn't make it up there.
No.
Okay.
So
But-
that's
so
not
they-
in
This could be removed today. We don't know that it has not been.
Mm-hmm.
Correct.
yeah, correct.
So I think the continuation would be a thing to do, to wait till
Yeah.
we can check it.
Well,
I'd hate to issue a fine and
Well,
have
that-
them come back and say, oh, I took it out.
may or may not be imposed. Don't get me wrong, but
Maybe
this
imposed.
started January 27th. And now here we are I mean, it's like, and no communication, right?
No, I haven't had any communication on
If
it.
they come back in.
When was this picture taken?
This was taken, it should be dated. Can you receive the file?
Looks like January 27th,
There you go. Yeah.
Oh,
Where do you see that?
based on the naming convention of the picture.
Yeah,
Oh,
so,
oh, okay.
yeah,
yeah.
so it was taken the date of the NOV, the notice of violation.
So we're gonna ask that the property owner show us that the dock has been removed
Or when I'm able to go
or
back on
replaced
the water.
within 30 days.
Okay.
Go from there. At least that's my recommendation.
Number one.
Yep.
Yep.
You want me to do that or you guys want to do it?
Go ahead.
All right. Based on the testimony and evidence presented in case number 24-0070, I move that this board finds the respondent in violation of sections 125-767, oh no, I'm sorry, I apologize. Section 66-169 sub B sub 5 of the Town Code of Ordinances. Respondents shall comply with the Town Code of Ordinance on or before, I believe it's May 22nd of 2024. If the respondents fail to comply with the order in a timely fashion, a fine in the amount not to exceed $50 per day may be imposed. A fine assessment hearing will be held on May 22nd of 2024, if necessary.
Second.
Further discussion. All those in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion carries. Next case, 24-0119, Katrina Kahak and Wasim Kayhock. Painted driveway is fading with spots and needs repainting.
Correct. Good evening. I am Code Enforcement Officer Eric Richwagon with the Town of Lake Clark Shores. Case number 24-0119. Property owners identified by Katrina Cahook and Wasim Cahook. Site property address is 1701 Mango Circle, Lake Clark Shores. On 2/7/2024, a notice of violation was issued for section 34-19 sub 9 sub B. The painted driveway has faded spot set that need to be repainted. A notice of hearing was issued on 4/12/2024. A reinspection of today's date finds that the violation still exists. I haven't had any communication with these property owners. They were cited for some stuff in the past that came in compliance, but as for this one, they've not. The driveway itself isn't damaged, it just needs to be repainted.
I thought it was whitewashed or blue washed in this case.
If you look at some of the other photos, you'll see that it used to be solid blue.
Yeah.
And then it has the fading, so it would just need to be repainted blue. Be my recommendation to give them 30 days to get the whole thing completed. If not, a fine of $50 a day will be imposed.
When was the first notice?
2/7.
Yeah, 2/7/2024.
Okay, and you heard nothing.
No,
And then today, so we've heard nothing so this is from February.
Mhm.
I think we start finding today.
Do we know, are these people artisans or anything like that?
No, I recently moved in there.
Yeah.
Same thing as.
Full, I mean, it's been a while
Yeah,
since I
it's
visited
dark.
that road,
Alright.
but it's within my neighborhood and the house has changed hands a lot of times and these are new owners and maybe in the last year.
Would someone like to make a motion?
I'll make it if you'd like.
Yeah.
Is that all right, Jerry?
Yeah, all right, time, Chris. I've been asking of you guys, but
Based on the
I'm gonna go home too.
Presented on page 24-0119. I move this board finds the response in violation of sections 34-19 sub 9 sub B of the town code of ordinances. Respondent shall comply with the code of ordinances on before May 24th, 2024. If the respondents fail to comply with the order in a timely fashion, the fine the amount not to exceed $75 per day may be imposed. Fine assessment hearing will be held on May 22nd, 2024, if necessary.
Is there a second?
So Wesley, can I second it?
Okay, good.
All right, thank you. I'll second it.
Yeah, did you mean to say that it was, the fine would be imposed as of May 22nd instead of May 24?
Well,
You comply by May 22nd.
Yes, sorry.
May,
Our board meeting.
our board meeting,
Okay.
May 22nd.
Maybe,
Okay, further discussion?
did you,
It's been moved and seconded, I believe.
when the fine was
We're gonna
starting
give
today?
them 30 days and we'll kick it
Okay.
in there.
Okay.
Is there any further discussion? All those in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
Any- Anyone opposed? Motion carries. I believe the next case is on page 3, 24-0168, Carolyn Wren.
Correct. This is, I'm Code Enforcement Officer Eric Richwagon. This is case number 24-0168. Property owner identified by Carolyn Wren. Site address is 1411 Indian Road East, Lake Clark Shores. On 3/12/2024, a notice of violation was issued for section 34-19 sub 9 sub B. The driveway needs to be pressure cleaned. A notice of hearing was issued on 4/12/2024, and a reinspection as of today's date finds that the violation still exists. It's my recommendation to give them no more than 30 days to come into full compliance. If not, a $50 a day fine may be imposed.
And when did you send out the initial?
3/12.
3/12. I also, just little context, this street, 4 of these properties were cited for driveways. 3 of them came in compliance. That's why only 1 has come tonight. So 3 of them came into compliance.
Is that dirt in the quote in the swale? It looks like it might be in
Yeah,
the swale.
so the swale area, I don't count because that's where water naturally pools and everything. That's why if you look in more, you can see.
Mhm.
So if you look toward the other picture, you'll see on the other side, it's dirty.
Unfortunately, yeah, when you do pictures and you can't really tell. When you see it, when you're in person, it looks worse than it does on those pictures.
If you zoom out a little bit, is the roof okay or is it dirty as well?
No, the roof now needs to be sided. When I sided it then, it wasn't dirty enough for me to find that it was justifiable, but it is to that point now where it could warrant a violation.
Would someone like to make a motion?
I have a question. It looks like there are tire marks,
Mhm.
which would lead me to believe that it's not stained. It might be dirt, just dirt,
By the swale, yes, but the driveway itself is stained.
up and around.
Yes.
Yeah, okay, all right, yeah. Okay, I'll make, all right, Jim?
Yeah, of course, Wesley.
Based on testimony and evidence presented in case number 24-0168, I move that the board find the response in violation of sections 34-19 sub 9 sub B of the town code of ordinances. Respondent shall comply with the town code of ordinance on and before May 22nd, 2024. Respondents, if the respondents fail to comply with this order in a timely fashion, a fine in the amount not to exceed $50 per day may be imposed. Fine assessment will be heard on May 22nd, 24, if necessary.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Further discussion? All those in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion carries. All right. I believe that's the end of our cases tonight,
That is correct.
which would take us to board comments. And Eric's going to give us an update on these additional parking lot issues.
Yeah, it's the same status as last month. They're just in the process. When the work's gonna get started, hopefully soon. They are coming up on their due date soon. I believe they were given until, I want to say May or June. So, I mean,
Have you had any conversations with any of these property owners regarding when they're going to get it done?
yeah, I mean, 1499, 1497, they just said they got the contractors, they're working on it. They're just deciding a date to get it done. That's about the best they're giving me.
Can you remind me which of these properties we're talking about? The location?
Yeah, so 1497, 1495, 1499 Forest Hill, and then the Joe Bistro Plaza, that entire area. I forget the exact address for the Joe Bistro.
So is this the 3 office buildings or no?
Well, the ones directly behind Town Hall, those were already done. Those were Storm Abramson's property.
Yeah.
The Joe Bistro were NYPD2, or not NYPD, where Four Brothers Pizza is. that
Dunkin' Donuts, all of that.
that plaza, they
Okay.
settled their lawsuit with the ADA. He hired a contractor for the parking lot.
Oh,
They're just deciding, if they're gonna add spaces, how many handicap spots they have to get. So, I mean, it's in motion, just, get it done.
I don't think I was here for that.
So you're satisfied what's going on? Is there any property that you're concerned about with any of them that have that? Because I think we gave them, 6 months?
Yeah. No, because I cited them for that, but we've had other things. I mean, Mr. Hughes has been around in between the two properties. There was an issue with a lot of trash, a lot of palm fronds. We had a few vagrant issues. There was an area in between properties where Dunkin' Donuts is, where cars were freely going through. The two property owners got together. They actually planted bushes. So there's been some sideline benefits going on. The planting of the hedges has actually helped things out. Now people aren't cutting between the two properties. Mr. Hughes, I'm sure you've seen the trash is significantly better because they now have the trash locked and they cleaned up all the dead vegetation.
Yeah. So
And then
it looks much better.
the school's still being built. It's in progress. They're going through the motions with Melissa. Once that school's done, it'll be good. As for the buildings that they need to get their lots done, they are updating and upgrading the building. So that's a positive note for the town.
Okay, so there's not one specific property or owner that there's of any concern or anything that you need to be, hey, they're falling short.
No.
Okay. It's just to keep up with.
And I have a question. Of the tax payments that we went over last month, 10 or so of them, have those all been paid? I don't even know, but has the majority of them been paid? What's that status? And then what happens if they don't pay?
Melissa can answer your
Okay.
question.
Most of them have been paid. We do have probably about 8 that aren't paid.
8 out of, what do we have, 10 or 12? So 4 or 5 are paid,
Yes,
that's it? Have you heard from any of the other 8?
I haven't.
Have we been able to confirm they're still in business?
We haven't. We have, they're still in business. Did you go by there?
Yeah, so, when the notices were posted, any businesses that were no longer there at the time, the list was updated. As of today, if any ones have left since then, that we don't know of.
Okay. So where does that penalty go? Does it just sit there, or is there any more we can do? We can't make them pay, of course, but,
Right.
you know, it just sits there like this gentleman here with $482, whatever, it just sits there.
Right.
The money is owed the town, so even if they vacate or close the business where they were and decide to open elsewhere in the town, that money would show up as still being owed to the town, correct?
Correct. Yes.
Now, if these aren't paid this year and they're tax, do you send out a tax bill for them?
I do.
If it's unpaid, would that show on their tax bill next July?
Yes, it will. It's just going to keep on following them.
Okay, yeah, good, thanks.
So these unpaid by April 24th, our motion said that a lien would be recorded.
Mhm.
So if they're not paid by tomorrow, are we going to file the liens?
Yeah.
Okay. Record the liens, excuse me.
Yes.
Okay.
All right, now, okay, I'll leave that up to the attorneys. But if the person doesn't have a real estate or just has a business, how are you going to how do you lien that? Through a UCC filing?
Well, no, it wouldn't be recorded. It's against any property owned by the person. They may not own any,
Right,
Mm.
that's what I mean.
but if they own real estate someplace else,
Mhm.
it would attach.
Additional comments, questions?
I'd like to bring back, I guess, the property 1755 Forest Hill Boulevard. In regards to, I think we all know, as long as I've been on this, it's been a repeat offender. I know it's a new owner, so I'm granting that, but obviously this problem is not going away based on those pictures,
Mhm.
unfortunately. And I think this new owner, I personally feel there should be a warning sent already to, being he's new, and be courteous and let him know that it's been a nuisance in our community for not months, I would say years. Emily, how long have you been, how many times have you seen that property
It's been
pop up?
an issue for a while.
I would like to suggest that we either send some sort of communication, written communication, certified mail and everything else saying that this has been a continual issue, that if they get fined, I guess here we can do a maximum 250. I think it's a hazard, health hazard for one. But if it happens a second time, the maximum fine could be $500 a day. I just think that would motivate me as a new owner. If I get something like that, I've got to do something, because hopefully he doesn't come to that point. But I just think we're now going to start this whole process over with a new owner. And I think it needs to be stopped, because anybody who has ever gone walking there and seen that, it's sad. It's shocking that it's here in Lake Clark Shores.
Yeah.
And I've been here now 7 years. Problem has not been solved, and it needs to be solved.
The issue is the violation gets issued, but then it gets addressed within a couple of days. So I would like to take them to the board. The issue is if it comes into compliance, we really can't bring it because it came into compliance.
But can't you, because it's a repeat violation,
Yeah, I mean,
even if they come into compliance, but because it's repeated?
I think what I can do is I can issue a violation for the trash again, attach the, nuisance to it. Maybe I can see if we can attach some kind of health violation to it. That way, even if it gets removed, then the nuisance can stick based on the continuance of it.
Correct.
So yeah, trust me, I drive by it all the time. It's an ongoing issue.
Yeah, it's compounded with the house across the street as well. And those poor neighbors that live, I mean, it needs to be solved once and for all. If anything, I don't know if you're going to talk to the, if you can talk to the owner, but a lot of places now, people are worried about illegal dumping because they're paying for everyone's trash. So I'm surprised that they don't have security cameras or cameras on there. So if anybody comes with their tag or whatever, they can report it to the police chief, of Lake Clark Shores or whatever. But measures need to be taken, and that new owner needs to be aware. And I would think it'd be cheaper for him to put security cameras and make sure, if we ever call him on something, it needs to be taken care of in 24 hours or less, not
Yeah.
even.
In previous places that I worked in Lauderhill, we had a massive problem with this, and we found that sometimes the best way to get an owner's attention is when they do receive a $200, $250, or even $500 fine. Because, not speaking on the rap, but some owners, they don't really care. Some owners aren't aware, but sometimes when the heavy fine amount comes in, things tend to progress much quicker.
I just think a courtesy letter from the town, just saying, listen,
Is Jerry allowed to write him a letter?
I'll go see him in person.
Go see
You don't
him.
think? I don't mind.
Yeah.
I'm a resident of this town. You think it's funny? I don't think it's funny.
No, I don't.
I would, if I was a homeowner, and we've had that been here, if I was a homeowner, I'd be up in arms. It's embarrassing. It's sad. Now we got a new I want to thank he bought in our account, but the problem must stop. It
If
needs
that-
to stop.
If that property is a rental property, can we not attach something in some way to the license that requires that he bring the property into compliance as a rental property?
Bill?
Yeah, I'm not aware of anything. I mean, what I would do though, I think, is when you cite them, give them a very short period of time. Then if they don't comply, you can bring them in and get that first finding of fact type order entered. And then the next one would be repeat, and you can find them.
Can you,
Immediately.
Bill, for repeat violations, so how does that work? Do they have to come before the board for it to be a repeat violation
Yeah.
or not?
They have to be cited for the same.
Or just,
They would
citation or-
they would get cited again for repeat violation, but let's say they did it on May 3rd and they cleaned it up by the 5th. You could fine for those, once it's a repeat, you could fine for those 2 or 3 days.
But it's a repeat violation, even if they come into compliance before coming to the board,
Yes.
right?
Yeah.
So
Can we also, I don't know, I guess all the addresses there, or can a notice be done by the town and put on everyone's door saying, listen, if it spills over, you got to fit it. I don't know. I don't know how we're going to correct, but it needs to be corrected.
Well, it's a rental property, so the property owners are responsible for the tenants. So if the tenants are dumping, it's the property owner's responsibility.
Agreed. And if he had security cameras, he would know if it was a tenant or not, I would think.
can we, I don't remember if it's on the list of citations that we can issue without going to the code board.
Oh, you mean one of the fine?
Yeah,
But that's for blocking of the storm drain.
okay.
is it anywhere near the storm drain?
Yeah, there is a storm drain nearby. I know Roberto and the utilities departments have mentioned to me before. By the time I've gone out there, it's been cleaned up. But yeah, if it's creating a blockage of the storm drain, there is an actual ticket type that I can issue.
And the other thing is, we've got storm season coming.
Yes,
The minute there's wind out there, all that debris is going to go flying.
yes. Flying missiles.
Mhm.
So in other words, you're able to attach a health I think we need to do everything possible to make it expedient. And,
Yeah.
and I want to give them the person being they're new, but they need to understand this has been recurring over years, will not be tolerated anymore. So I'm just, how can you convey that and say, hey, it's going to be a health code, and now it's not going to be only us, it's going to be Palm Beach County too? When it comes with the health, is it just still town of Lake Clark Shores, or is it now go to the county as well?
No, if it's a health violation, it can be reported to the county. I gotta look a little more into it to see, but I know I can get, obviously for the trash being outside of the dumpster, and I can obviously get it for being a public nuisance. And then if we can attach it, like if it's obstructing the storm drain, that's an actual separate ticket with a finable amount. And if it is anywhere in there where it can be cited for health and safety, we can try doing that approach as well.
If you want to talk to the owner and give them all the heads up, that's fine with me too. I just think we need to, but it needs to stop. I think our residents have had it personally. If they did walking, and I'm just surprised we haven't had more people here complaining about that on a constant basis.
I've seen where they've actually put red tags on a pile such as that. And I don't know if that's the trash company that would do that, or if that's something.
Yeah, so in other places I've worked, we would do that. Lake Clark Shores, we don't have the violation stickers for it, but in previous places I worked, we'd actually assign a violation to it. There'd be a certain amount of time to come in compliance, and if not, the town could actually remove it and charge
And
them.
charge them, right?
I don't believe Lake Clark Shores has it. It's something that can be brought up for discussion because it was helpful when I worked in Lauderhill, because there was a lot of illegal dumping. It's
We
just,
have that mechanism. We've done it on Carissa, right? Wasn't it Carissa Road? The south side of Forest Hill, Paul?
That apartment unit you're talking about, that was
And
exclusive.
there's a lot. They're actually behind the apartments, facing the apartments, though, on Carissa Lane, between Westlake and Forest Hill.
I can bring you some fluorescent red paper if you want to
but,
write your notices and put
well,
it
I
on
was-
that and
Yeah,
staple
to your
it.
point, Dad, don't we, can we just mark it with orange paint? I see like City of West Palm do that and other cities.
well, again, I mean, I'm not sure, because in other places I worked, it was actually in the ordinance that if it was cited by the code enforcement officer, if it was stickered, and if it didn't come in compliance by the stickered date, then the town had the authority, because when Lauderhill would remove the trash, they would then bill the resident. So from,
Eric,
Bill, do you know about that?
Eric, maybe you and Emily can speak to the town manager and possibly Bill on how we
Yeah,
can.
we'll
we can
see what
pursue
we
that.
can do. We'll
Yeah.
talk to the attorney and the town manager.
How often do you go there? Just that part, or is that something you can go by there every day?
I go by there every day. For trash and debris, I've written them,
Well,
I'd have to look, but it's been over 20 times.
if you issue a violation today and they're supposed to remove it in 2 days or 3 days, and you go back and it's still there, you issue another violation, now they're a repeat violator.
Well, it has to go for the board. They have to be cited at the
I thought you
hearing.
said they don't have to come before us before it's a repeat violation.
Well, no, the board has to find the violation.
Yeah,
So it comes, but then they have to, it would be a repeat violation, and if they comply, then the next one's a repeat.
yeah. So, yeah,
Are we giving them 24 or 48 hours? Because I think even 48 hours is too long.
I mean, it has to be a reasonable amount of time. Now because it's becoming quite a serious nuisance. Bill, you had said 48 hours. Could we do 24 hours? Is that?
Yeah, I would
That's
think
okay.
so. I think given the circumstances of what it looked like, you can do 24 hours.
Okay, so then, yeah, I'll issue, because of the continuous, nature of it, it'll be 24-hour, notice given. And then if it's not removed, it'll be brought before the board. And then once it gets cited, then the next time, as Bill said, then it can be deemed as a repeat violator. And the good thing with that is, as Bill said, even if they get cited and come in compliance within a couple days, they're still a repeat violator for those days that they were in violation, you could cite them for.
Do you give, I know every time you say, I recommend this, do you put like, hey, your fine could be this much, or if you don't act on it?
What, on the violations?
Yeah, I'm
No,
just curious.
because a notice of violation is given almost as a warning. Then they receive the notice of hearing. If they make contact with me and have questions, then I can go into it. But normally you wait for the hearing setting because you don't want to tell someone, well, you may be fined 50 and it's really something that warrants a $250 fine.
Right. Well, usually maybe the language for the notice of hearing would say something that you could be fined up to $250,
I believe
which might encourage them to come into compliance.
It says something on the violation.
And if we could put on there on top of that, repeat violation can go to $500 a day. I'm hoping that will catch their eye, that no more.
Yeah,
It's just no
no,
more.
so on the notice of hearing, it does say fine up to 250 per day or fine up to 500 per day for repeat violation will be assessed by the code enforcement board. So it is on the notice of hearing sticker, or I
Okay.
should say, hearing.
If you want, highlight it.
Eric, has this property been cited for the dumpster problem before?
Yeah, over 20 times.
So
Just
why
with him being hired here, just 20
Okay.
times.
So why is this not a repeat offender?
Because they've come into compliance before for a notice of hearing could be issued.
Mhm.
But because it's an ongoing continuous thing, there's different approaches that had to be taken.
But I thought you said if you cite them, they come into compliance and
That-
then they re-violate.
That's it. So-
That was a,
So a notice of violation has to be issued, and in order to be deemed a repeat violator, it has to be the same property, same owner within 5 years under the same code section. Was that
it has to come in front of the board.
one time? Yeah, it has to come before the board once, and then the next time it comes, you would deem it as a repeat violator, and then from third on, like if they violated on a Monday and they came in compliance on a Friday, from that Monday to that Thursday, you could fine them an amount.
I'm just curious, have you ever spoken to the owner, the new owners?
Yeah, I mean, when the new parking lot was being done, he wasn't able to make it to the board hearing, but, requested more time. So when they first bought it and they were redoing the parking lot and clearing out the tenants, they were very vocal and, very, very cooperative.
I'm just curious, would you feel comfortable? I don't know if you were to make a call just to have a one-on-one or have a conversation, say, listen, town's not, just FYI, here we are. You need to be serious about this and it's going to be, and that's it. I don't know how far, William, I don't know what you think but I know I'm a new guy. Okay, but a little personal, but I just want them to know there's not going to be, I think based on what I'm sensing here on this board, we're going to go for the max.
Mhm.
And it's going to be solve it, or you're going to be dishing out a lot of money on an ongoing
Well,
basis.
you don't want to prejudge it.
Right.
No, I got you, but
Okay.
I'm just saying a courtesy.
Okay.
I don't know.
Um,
That's what I would like,
You want a healthy warning.
But,
a
but,
healthy warning.
but the statute says, and I'm just reading it here, it
Courtesy warning.
says if the violation is corrected and then recurs, or if the violation is not corrected by the time specified for correction by the code inspector, the case may be presented to the enforcement board, even though the violation has been corrected prior to the board hearing. So, if you cite them and even if they fix it, you can still bring it in if it's a recurring thing.
Yeah,
But then what happens with the code enforcement board?
You
They're in
do a finding of fact with no fine the first time, but then the next time is a repeat.
Okay.
Right.
Now, I'm just curious, on this issue, if we ever had a special magistrate, would this ever get done this way? Just curious, and if how would this be handled if it was not a code board? And obviously we live here, we know all the years, and now this is something, but if we had a special magistrate, would this even be handled this way? How would it be?
Well, the magistrate hears what's brought to him, and if the town brought it to the magistrate, he would hear the case and enter orders accordingly. I do cases for Lantana, and they had I don't know if you know where the old Kmart used to be down there and all, but anyway, I had month after month after month with people parking semis in there and different stuff, and they brought them in every time, and the owner fixed it, but it would be 2 days later, 1 day later. So as long as the case kept coming in, you keep hearing the cases.
Mhm.
A magistrate would not be aware of the
history.
or the local conditions or whatever to say, hey, there's a problem at such and such a place. But if there's a notice of violation issued, it comes to the magistrate hears it. And
So it sounds to me like if you've issued them a notice of violation, and even if they get it taken care of this week, and the next week you issue another notice of violation and they take care of it the week after, you can still bring it to us in May as a repeat violation.
you would bring it as it's going to be a first violation.
Right.
You need to get an order entered that there was a
Correct.
violation, and then the next time it's a repeat.
Well, it's a repeat for you having to issue the citations.
The way it would be is that you issue a violation, they come into compliance, but then, they then re-violate. So it's showing that although they come into compliance, there's a pattern that's continuing. So even though one came in compliance, we can deem that it's going to happen again based on past tendencies.
So we can probably look forward to seeing this on an agenda in the next month or 2 or 3,
Yes.
something like that.
Yeah, we started with a trailer and now we'll start with the dumpsters.
Can I ask a question to the police chief? Chief, have we had a issue? You've been here, obviously, how many years? 14 years or years? 22 years. I'm just curious, do we have a problem with illegal dumping there? Is that something that we've had our local police just to kind of be stationed there or something just to?
Happy for you. Dumping in the commercial area, the dumpsters behind the restaurants. Sometimes people come through and dump. There, you've got multiple rental apartments. So you got people out working that come back that may dump, or you may have the neighbor doing the dumping.
I'm thinking cars that all of a sudden just pull up, dump and leave.
Well,
That type
a
of.
lot of it, what we would look for is like pickup trucks where people do small jobs and they don't want to spend the money or
Right.
take the time to go to the dump. So all the cities deal with that.
Mhm.
That's an issue.
I'm just curious if that's something that maybe there's a it's kind of a known thing and maybe we have outsiders coming. And I'm just wondering if we ever put a police just to kind of.
People over the years, and we've cited people for that. And that's, without going into a lot of detail, that's part of the patrolling in the evening and midnights and early in the morning is, checking dumpsters for other things besides illegal dumping.
Can the town put a sign there? Forest Hill, I don't know if the sign is possible, no
Well,
dumping.
I mean, there's the main part where the dumping's happening is on Hayden, and we don't really have a place to put it because that's private property.
Well, one thing too is a lot of these tenants, and there's the owner, but I would think before a tenant moves in and say, hey, when you guys leave here, you guys can't put mattresses or there's things that you just can't be dumping in the dumps. I don't know, just events, but whatever we can to solve this problem, but it's got to end, I feel.
Well, we'll work on it, but you can direct people or tell people not to do something.
And they'll do it.
What they want to do.
I'm just saying,
Police.
yeah, no, I'm saying as a landlord, obviously you sign a lease. There could be also a note or just a disclosure like, listen, these are the type of trash you're allowed to put there. You're not allowed to dump a mattress or furniture or whatever. You got to dispose of it the way you need to dispose of it. I don't know if that's something you can add to your conversation if you speak to those owners. But.
Yeah.
The dumpsters say you can't put things in the dumpster.
Yeah.
But we'll, I'll get with staff and we'll work on that.
Appreciate that.
Do the best.
Happy 40th birthday, Chief. Appreciate your 22 years of service.
Your motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
Motion's been moved and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion carries. Thank you, everyone.